First, we want to thank you for joining us today to learn about this unique and lucrative short-term investment opportunity. In the next few minutes, we will walk through the key highlights of this short-term, high-yield investment that capitalizes on the surging global demand for tariff-free sources of tungsten. As a brief overview, this is a 45 to 60-day investment in a prearranged ferro-tungsten processing cycle, or HEAT, at our partner's facility in Vietnam. It offers a 36% APR return with principal and interest secured through a transferable letter of credit. We're excited to share the details with you, so let's get started. Tungsten is an absolutely critical metal used in a wide range of high-performance applications, from aerospace and defense manufacturing to industrial machinery and cutting tools. Its unique properties, including the highest melting point of all metals, high density, and extreme hardness, make it indispensable for these demanding uses. However, global tungsten supply is heavily concentrated, with over 80% currently controlled by China and Russia. This has created significant supply risks and price volatility for tungsten consumers, especially with ongoing trade tensions between the US and China and trade embargoes with Russia. To give you a sense of the scale of this issue, the US government has classified tungsten as one of 35 minerals deemed critical to economic and national security. On top of the geopolitical concerns with China, recent sanctions on Russian tungsten exports have further constrained global supply. This is putting immense pressure on steel manufacturers to find alternative, reliable sources of tungsten. This supply-demand imbalance has opened up an attractive opportunity for non-Chinese tungsten producers to gain market share and command premium pricing. Established tungsten customers want to diversify their supply chains and are willing to pay above market to secure that certainty of delivery in this tightening market. Let's look at how we've structured this investment opportunity. There are 4 key parties involved. CarbonMeta Technologies is the project sponsor and coordinator. We've assembled the operating team, negotiated the commercial agreements, and managed the technical planning to bring this project to the point of investment and execution. Asia Tungsten Products. Vietnam is the owner and operator of the ferro-tungsten processing plant in Vinh Bao. ATP has a long track record of producing high-quality tungsten products for export and is contributing the facilities, equipment, labor, and operational expertise for our project under a tolling agreement. Golden Touch. Hong Kong is our primary raw material supplier. Golden Touch will be providing the high-grade scheelite concentrate that our processing plant converts into ferro-tungsten alloy. We have negotiated a fixed-price, long-term supply contract for this raw material. Wogan Resources UK is a leading global metals trader that has agreed to purchase the ferro-tungsten output from this project at a predetermined price. This gives us clear line of sight to cash flow and profitability. First and foremost, tungsten's unique properties make it essential in aerospace, defense, industrial machinery, and other high-performance applications. However, supply is highly constrained, with over 80% controlled by China and Russia. Recent geopolitical tensions have end users urgently seeking alternative sources. CarbonMeta Technologies has proactively arranged supply and offtake agreements to capitalize on this imbalance. We've partnered with Asia Tungsten Products in Vietnam to dedicate production for international buyers, secured long-term ore supply from Golden Touch Hong Kong, and signed a volume purchase agreement with global metals trader Wogan Resources. By locking in costs and sales price, we've isolated the trade from commodity price risk. The key variable is processing time. We expect a 45-day cycle, generating a 36% annualized return, but have built in upside to 60 days while still delivering a 27% APR. The short timeline, fixed pricing, and use of transferable letters of credit administered by Banner Bank significantly de-risk the investment. Investor funds are held in escrow until both purchase and sale contracts are in place. Let's walk through the mechanics of how this ferrotungsten investment will work. The process begins with you, the investor, depositing your capital into a high-yield account under joint control with CarbonMeta. This ensures your funds are secure and earning interest from day one, while giving us the ability to deploy them quickly when the time comes. The next step is putting in place the structured contracts and letters of credit that will govern the cash flows. Before any money leaves the account, we will finalize transferable purchase and sale agreements, the purchase of scheelite ore from Golden Touch Hong Kong, and the sale of refined ferrotungsten to Wogan Resources. Our bank will then issue a letter of credit on behalf of Wogan Resources, guaranteeing their payment upon confirmed delivery of the ferrotungsten. We will use this LC as collateral to have our bank issue a second transferable LC to Golden Touch, triggering release of the ore shipment. This ensures all the cash flows are contractually lined up before your capital is put to work. Once the ore arrives at our plant in Vietnam, the processing begins. Asia Tungsten Products will crush and concentrate the scheelite, then smelt it in an electric arc furnace with other inputs to produce the ferrotungsten alloy. When the smelting is complete, the product is packaged and shipped to Wogan Resources' designated warehouses. Upon confirmed receipt, Wogan releases payment under the letter of credit to Banner Bank. Banner Bank then remits the funds back to our high-yield account, returning your original capital plus the accrued profit. We expect this whole cycle to take 45 to 60 days from the time the ore is purchased to when you receive your principal and interest. The key is that the letters of credit structure contractually links each stage of the process. No funds are released until the prior step is complete, and the next buyer is obligated to pay. Your capital is truly secured from start to finish. Let's review the financial plan for this $7 million ferrotungsten investment. The largest component is the $6 million allocated to purchase the scheelite ore concentrate from our raw material supplier, Golden Touch Hong Kong. Processing and logistics account for the next $500,000. This covers the tolling fees charged by Asia Tungsten Products to convert the scheelite into market-grade ferrotungsten alloy. Adding those together, our total cash production cost comes to $6.5 million. We'll hold the remaining $500,000 of investor funds as a working capital reserve for any unexpected expenses or variance in the processing costs. On the revenue side, the contracted sale price to Wogan Resources for the ferrotungsten output is $8 million. This is based on the pre-negotiated volume and pricing in our offtake agreement. Subtracting the $6.5 million in production costs from the $8 million in gross sales yields $1.5 million in gross profit on the trade. From this $1.5 million profit pool, you, as the investor, will receive between $315,000 and $420,000, depending on the exact timing of the delivery and payment under the offtake agreement. Let's discuss the 3 key ways this investment protects your capital. First, the use of transferable letters of credit through our bank secures the transactions. The buyer, Wogan Resources, deposits funds and issues an LC to CarbonMeta. CarbonMeta then uses this as collateral for our bank to issue a second LC to the raw material supplier. Funds are only released once both LCs are in place and delivery is verified. This ensures payment is guaranteed before any investor capital is at risk. Second, the processing costs at the Vietnam plant are fixed under a processing agreement. Facility fees, labor, utilities, all locked in up front. This prevents unexpected overruns from cutting into returns. Third, the full investment cycle is capped at 60 days maximum, from raw ore purchase to finished product sale. This short hold insulates investors from broader market shifts. In summary, the combination of secured LCs, fixed costs, and a brief cycle builds in layers of downside protection. While no investment is risk-free, CarbonMeta has taken prudent steps to safeguard investor capital. Let's walk through the detailed timeline for this investment to give you a clear picture of how the process will unfold. The first key date is February 28th. This is when you, the investor, will deposit the funds into a high-yield account that is under joint signature authority with CarbonMeta Technologies. Having the account under dual control ensures your capital is secure from day one, while still allowing CarbonMeta to deploy the funds efficiently to get the ferrotungsten production process started. Once the funds are in place, the next major milestone is March 7th. This is when the formal purchase order for the ferrotungsten will be received from either Golden Touch Hong Kong or Wogan Resources UK, the two pre-arranged buyers. Securing this PO kicks off the process of putting in place the transferable letters of credit that are so critical to protecting your investment. As a quick refresher, the letter of credit from the buyer serves as a guarantee that they will pay for the ferrotungsten upon confirmed delivery. CarbonMeta then uses this LC as collateral to get a second LC issued to the raw material supplier, which allows the scheelite ore to be purchased without any risk that the buyer won't ultimately pay. It creates a secure chain of custody and payment. With the LCs in hand, the next step is the actual purchase and shipment of the scheelite concentrate from the supplier, Golden Touch Hong Kong. We expect this raw material to arrive at our processing partner's plant in Vietnam around March 12th. This is when the physical work of converting the ore into saleable ferrotungsten alloy begins. The processing itself takes a few weeks. The concentrate needs to be roasted, crushed, magnetically separated, and then finally smelted in an electric arc furnace, along with some other inputs to produce the ferrotungsten. Our agreement with Asia Tungsten Products, the plant owner, specifies that this processing must be complete by April 7th. This gives us a bit of buffer in case there are any logistical delays getting the raw materials in or any minor technical issues with the furnaces. Once the smelting is done, the finished ferrotungsten undergoes rigorous quality testing to ensure it meets international standards for tungsten content and impurities. Assuming all is well, which we expect based on Asia Tungsten's track record, the product is packaged and shipped out to the buyer. We're budgeting April 9th for this, giving us a couple days of slack after the processing is complete. When the buyer receives the ferrotungsten, they do their own quality verification and then release payment under the original letter of credit they issued. Those funds go to Banner Bank, our LC issuing institution, who then remits the money back to the high-yield account holding your initial investment. We expect this to happen by April 11th, although of course it depends on the bank's processing times. At that point, with the full sales proceeds received, CarbonMeta returns your original invested principal along with the interest earned. The target date for this is April 15th, although as we discussed, the agreement allows until April 30th in case of any banking delays. And remember, because the 36% APR interest accrues daily from day 45, any extra days until your funds are returned simply mean a bit more profit. All in, it's about a 45 to 60-day cycle from start to finish. In closing, we want to thank you for your interest in this unique investment opportunity. We're committed to providing full transparency on the investment structure, timeline, counterparties, and risk mitigation strategies. Their goal is for you to have all the information you need to make a well-informed decision. If the opportunity aligns with your investment objectives, the next step would be to schedule a follow-up call to walk through the detailed term sheet and subscription documents. In the meantime, thank you again for taking the time to learn about CarbonMeta Technologies and this ferrotungsten investment opportunity. Please feel free to contact us directly with any requests for additional information.